Today, I want to talk about how luxury shopping has changed me as a person, and not in the way you might think. Now, I've spoken many times about the importance of intentional spending. But truthfully, my experience with luxury shopping is a major part of my personal growth journey because it has shaped the way I look at shopping and spending. And quite surprisingly as well, it has helped to improve my personal finance in certain unexpected ways. So make sure you stay till the very end. Let's start with how it all began. Like many people, I was quite addicted to shopping. I really enjoyed the thrill of getting something new, especially if it was designer. Before long, the things I bought became more and more expensive, and I found myself with a closet full of designer pieces, some of which I barely even wore. Then something shifted when I came across minimalism because that was when I really took a step back from shopping. During that time, it became clear to me that I had been chasing the high of shopping. The truth was, I didn't really like a lot of the things I bought. What I was after was actually the very short-lasting dopamine rush. The good news is, however, there's really no better testimony to me than my very own experience of unhealthy shopping obsession. You see, the fact that I had been there and done it means I know luxury shopping is not the answer to my happiness. I can now tell myself, look, you've done it all, it hasn't solved any of your problems, and you're still very much the same person. And that's the thing, right? I mean, everyone can tell you that designer shopping is not worth it. But when you see those beautiful pieces on other people, it's hard not to fantasize about how luxury shopping might make everything better. Now, I'm not encouraging anyone to go out there and be a shopaholic just to get to this realization. Some people are very intentional with their spending anyway, and others are simply not interested in luxury shopping the way I was. And the fact that I took part in it gave me the closure I needed. Now, of course, I wish I didn't make a lot of the expensive shopping mistakes I did, but if I can't turn back time, I might as well learn something from it. Something else that I realized from taking a break from shopping was that my shopping obsession wasn't really because I really wanted those designer pieces. Instead, I just really wanted to feel something, whether if it was a form of validation, a sense of accomplishment, or just filling a void. Looking back, my shopping was at its peaking point during the time when I was really overworked and stressed. And shopping for me was a form of escapism from a life that I didn't really enjoy. You could say I wanted to prove to myself that I was doing well. Yes, I was miserable at work, but at least I could afford some nice things, right? When minimalism came into my life, I decided it was time for a change. So I cut down on my shopping heavily, which meant my expenses went down exponentially. And thankfully, my savings went the other way. With this leverage, I was able to negotiate my work commitment. With my newfound spare time, I explored different interests. It sounds crazy now, but back then it was refreshing to know that a lot of hobbies are significantly cheaper than shopping. Not only that, I also get so much more fulfillment from trying out different things and working on my passion. To be honest, from that point on, I've never really felt tempted to buy anything on impulse because whenever I have this feeling of wanting to go shopping, I'll always circle back to my past experience in the sense that I've done it all and it's simply not the answer. I also want to touch on my experience of rehoming the luxury items that I didn't use. Put it this way, my reselling journey was a lot harder than I had imagined. You know, in the luxury community, a lot of people like to associate luxury items with the term investment. And considering we see price increases every single year, it's easy to believe that they are indeed real investment. So for a while, I was under the impression that it would be quite easy to resell anything if I ever changed my mind. But that simply is not the reality. In fact, a few years ago, I thought about selling my Hermes Kelly 28. A lot of people seem to think this bag should be quite easy to sell because typically this is a bag that you can only get with a purchase history. Additionally, mine is a special order piece and it's also in a fairly classic combination, i.e. black Togo leather with gold hardware. I didn't want to send it to a consignment service because when I asked around, the commission fee was really high. Eventually, after several months, someone was interested, but by then I had already decided to keep the bag in my collection. This experience has really reshaped the way I look at shopping because if I had so much trouble trying to sell a luxury bag that is supposedly in a high demand, what hope do I have for the other random knickknacks? This is why I now only buy pieces that I can see myself wearing for years because what I want is a timeless wardrobe, not a collection of things to resell. This might be an age thing, but I now don't look for validation from designer brands. I'm quite happy to pay for a luxury item if the quality justifies the price, but at the same time, I also don't restrict myself to only designer pieces. Essentially, my approach with designer shopping is a lot more utilitarian now. I don't mind paying for a designer piece if it will last me for a long time. This is the reason why, even after learning about minimalism, I didn't sell all my designer pieces. The way I see it, luxury shopping isn't inherently bad or wasteful. It's about how you approach it. But that's not it. Here's when things took a rather unexpected turn. As I became more intentional with my spending, I started to pay more attention to market trends and the general shopping behaviors. Basically, I was trying to understand why I shopped the way I did and why consumers in the luxury shopping industry will continue to shop in certain ways. And I realized luxury shopping is not just about fashion, it's a business and a very profitable one at that. From there, I began researching luxury stocks such as LVMH, Hermes, and Kering. And I realized there was an opportunity there because I could leverage my knowledge to invest in the market. For example, I started investing in Hermes stocks since 2019. Rather than looking at the brand as a consumer, I was compelled to learn about how the company had been performing in the market as an investor. Now I know some people dislike the unspoken rule at Hermes that you need to have a purchase history before they offer you a bag. But as a shareholder, I see that as a very effective business strategy to maintain sales, exclusivity, and brand loyalty. And even though I'm not a regular customer at Hermes anymore, I can see how this company will continue to have a very strong customer base because they have such a good understanding about consumers' mindset. As we speak, Hermes stocks have more than doubled in value in the last 4 years. Now, I don't own a lot of their stocks because I mainly invest in index funds, but I like to think that I wouldn't have come across this opportunity for a small profit if not for my personal shopping experience at Hermes and from listening to so many stories from people in the luxury shopping community. So I'm very thankful that in the last several years, instead of buying more Hermes handbags, I've been directing my resources to owning a little bit of real investment in this company, especially seeing I had previously spent quite a lot of money on their products. Another way luxury shopping has changed my life is that I started this channel because of it. Initially, I wanted to do videos about designer shopping hauls and unboxing, but along the way, my priorities changed. At first, I was a bit nervous about the transition because I wasn't sure if my audience would react well to it. But I'm now very thankful that I shared my journey with you guys anyway. With some luck, even though I've cut down on my shopping a lot, some of you stayed with me and your support gave me the opportunity to work with some amazing companies such as Skillshare. Through that platform, I learned about digital illustration, which is now a passion of mine. So I just want to say thank you for letting me be who I really am. Now on this channel, I've spoken many times about my luxury shopping mistakes, but my experience of designer shopping has actually contributed to a lot of my personal growth. I feel like I'm now able to navigate designer shopping in a much healthier way. Not only that, I now have a very different perspective about personal finance, and I'm also very intentional with all my spendings, whether if it's big or small. I really believe that with a bit of mindfulness, we'll be able able to see past the shiny facade of luxury shopping and let it become something that serves us, not consumes us. I hope this video helped you rethink the way you approach shopping and hopefully become a more empowered consumer. That's it from me today. Take care and I will see you soon.